Mics are hot. Pain in the well. Pain in the well.
Broadcasting from Big B Studios, your station for classic hip-hop, R&B, and much, much more. You are listening to WUSP 1550 AM, W238CA 95.5 FM, Utica, New York, The Heat.
Hi, this is Cassandra Harris Lockwood, and this is The Hot Seat.
Okay, it's 1 minute after 5. It is June 4th, 2026. Welcome to the Hot Seat. This is Dave the Difference Dancy, keeping the hot seat warm for our CEO, Cassandra Harris Lockwood, who will be joining us in this first segment. And when I say us, I mean me and John Stemen. And yes, here she is. She is ready to introduce.
Just drop it. Make it cool.
Absolutely.
Drop the curtain.
Yes, I'll do that. So yeah, the CEO is here, and let's get this show started. And while I'm adjusting the curtain, why don't you introduce yourself?
Well, the reason I'm here is so Dave the Difference Dancy can take care of climate control from studios to which it seems he's been perennially assigned. That's one of his duties. He has it on his business card. Climate control, among other things.
Holy moly, it's crying in here.
It's a lot better than it was. Oh
It's
my
cooler
God.
downstairs, much
Yeah,
cooler.
I apologize
heat
for the
rises.
late start
Heat
today,
rises.
too.
Yeah.
By the way, I should have been here a little earlier. It'd be a lot cooler.
Yeah.
No, I know.
I
Say
won't even go there.
Oh, good.
Won't even go
Okay.
there. Attendant.
Oh,
Dr.
Mr. Spence. Yes, Dr.
And
Spence.
it appears to me, unless I'm mistaken, that Dave the Difference Dancy was the last one to hear his voice explaining
in
him.
a journalistic capacity.
Okay, right.
Yeah, we were on the record.
You interviewed him, yes.
Yeah, we were on the record.
On Sunday.
Yes, I did have a sit down with him. Interesting sit down. You know, it was pretty informal. It was put together rather quickly by a friend of the community, Courtney Muhammad, and you know, since he had a meeting that night last Sunday where there were members of the community at the Becca Center, and I'm not sure exactly what the meeting was, the main point of the meeting, or when it was scheduled. I just know that Dr. Spence was a topic of it. And, you know, when I entered the room, there was a lot of clapping, a lot of camaraderie, a lot of positivity in the room. And I think he was basically explaining what he's been doing during his tenure as superintendent to some of the constituents, all of which were Black Uticans.
So didn't he give statistics on
Yes.
the results of his impact, right?
Yeah,
For the season.
In fact, I really was not ready for that. He pulled out a bunch of stuff.
I had not. Yeah, there you go. in hand. Which is really
he put out a
good.
lot of stuff. And a lot of it has to do with enrollment growth. For the third straight year, more enrollment, dealing with truancy, higher test scores, standardized test scores, an overall higher quality. And this has to do with really complicated statistical outcomes that people in the federal government use to measure funding and things like that. In those areas, he did really well.
And these are topics. These are materials that really don't generally come out. I mean, they're not.
Right. They're not even for
the
public consumption, right? People don't care about a 7% decrease in budget. You know what I mean? Like in one particular area.
Wait. Is that a real thing that you just said?
No.
Okay,
I just
well then
threw it
don't
out
say
there.
that. Okay.
But I'm just saying,
because as
people
far
don't
as
care
we
about
know,
that
that's
stuff.
not really
No.
accurate.
No, that's not. That's just an anecdotal example. No. But there's a lot of specific, I think he's particularly proud of the after-school program. Other stuff, and it had to do with standardized testing and school performance overall.
Yeah.
Yeah, the entire district, meaning every school had to
Right.
meet this minimal standard, and for the first time in history, they all did. You know,
Due
district
to
wide,
the-
like
due
there-
to-
no one was left out
Due to
due to his policies. Yeah,
Okay.
apparently, you know. I'm sure I would take credit for it if it never happened,
If it
and then when I
ever
got
was,
there, it
yeah,
did.
right. And post-COVID.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
Has there been an
Yeah,
increase? I mean,
post-COVID.
if there's an increase in enrollment, has there been an increase in population?
That
Coincides with that? I mean,
I would think, has Utica been known for population growth? No.
No.
So
Except for-
I'm thinking that increase might have to do with
well, the
population.
refugee population has expanded, has grown. So I don't know. I don't know what the nature of the statistics are. But it doesn't. I don't know that he was answering any of the questions that were complaints, right?
Right. I
Okay.
think that the biggest complaint was his style, his interpersonal style,
Okay.
and how he deals with his constituency, which would be the parents of the students, people within the community. He seemed to be a little bit aloof. That was the consistent takeaway I got. And
Well, you know what? On that note,
Yeah.
because this is such a hot button item, I'd like to open up the phones, and if people have comments they'd like to make about their interaction with him, you can call 315-507-3135, and let your position be known. Now, because I have heard that he was particularly effective in dealing with kids, with the young people. That he has a certain rapport with the students, with the children, and which is an important thing,
I agree.
And as a black man, and educated with elevated degrees and such, that's an aspirational position that we rarely have in Utica.
Right, I was going to
in
say.
the education system.
It's not very often kids have someone in authority that
Looks
really
like them.
looks like them and listens to them.
Well, I'm pretty sure I
You know.
think they listen to him.
Not very much.
Well.
No, their concerns aren't prioritized.
I wouldn't. I wouldn't.
Kids' concerns.
I
aren't
wouldn't
prioritized.
I wouldn't say that, David. Because
Okay.
they're in
All
school.
right, well, I'm not gonna
school
argue
teachers,
with you.
they're supposed to listen to their kids.
But they don't.
Counselors,
There's a disconnect there. That's why we have a problem with the school to prison pipeline.
well,
There's-
there are other
there's a
factors,
problem
but
with
there are other
There's-
factors.
there's a problem
but
there.
that might well be one, but that in general, teachers ask questions, don't they? And they think they get the answers to the kids. You know what? This first section, really seriously, folks, if you want to have your voice be known, 315-507-3135. You can be anonymous. You can be straightforward, and we look forward to your comments because this is a big deal. This is the source of education for our children going forward, and it's kind of been highly criticized and at this point stalled from the path that we've been on. It's been controversial, and there's some personal feelings in there too with people. So we want to be able to support and protect the people that come in here from out of town with our children.
I think the details of what's really going on behind the scenes are extremely bare right now. You can only speculate. What I'll first say is that if I saw or heard complaints about him, they did generally fall within two areas. The one area was that maybe not with the kids, but with adults who had concerns. There was sort of a transparency issue. He was not someone that liked to pick up the phone or get on the email and reply when somebody called.
That was the same thing.
And I've had a solution to that I think somebody at the level of superintendent shouldn't have to answer 500 questions.
Thank you.
They should have somebody in the office, an assistant that can deal with the public just like an assemblyman has or Joe Griffo has.
He created a position for that.
And
But
then
of course,
this-
you got to go through the board.
And then the second area was how he handled discipline, and my feeling was probably he wanted to have good statistics and make it look like he was effective, in cutting down on the problems, but there were parents and plenty of minority parents that were upset. They said, your kid does anything now, and it's guaranteed there'll be like a 15-day suspension, and then they may get sent to home study or to BOCES.
Yep.
And in the old days, it was never set in stone. So I think maybe there was a tough consistency to how these problems were dealt with, and a lot of the parents didn't like that. I don't know if those are issues quite enough, though, to move the needle with the school board. I think there had to be something more going on behind the scenes I'm not aware of.
Well, there had to be something going on behind the scenes, because this thing happened flash, bam, boom.
And the thing that suggests
it was obviously in motion.
The thing that suggests that it may be more than just recovering from an illness was that all questions were referred to a law firm, and when you see that, it suggests that something is going on, whether it is something that happened, that he did, or whether he knows he's on the way out and he's contemplating litigation relating to his contract. He's not going to comment anymore. He has assigned a law firm in Buffalo to answer, and they're not answering the questions. They're just saying, we know that he's on a leave, and we don't have anything more to say than that. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, he lawyered up.
Yeah.
And well, anyway, I don't want to talk about
It's
what
interesting. When
I
people
heard.
say lawyered up, you get the impression there was a crime,
Or there's a...
I lawyered up.
or a
You're
complaint,
assuming there's a
serious-
crime.
No, a serious
No crime
complaint.
occurred here, listeners.
No,
crime has occurred.
or a serious complaint on his part, because, the cries of racism have been rampant.
From what I understand, he actually asked for a leave of absence about 2 months ago, I think.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. And
How did you find that
He
out?
wanted a leave of absence until July 31st. And see, it's not confirmed. That's why I didn't write it anywhere. But he apparently asked for a leave of absence from the school board. This was, I think, a month and a half, 2 months ago. But he wanted it till July 31st.
What happens on July?
I don't know.
August 1? What happens on August 1, right?
Right! Utica Summer Jam. No, I don't know, Cassandra. I just know that that's what I had heard. And then I was looking for some follow-up on that and tried to get... I didn't get anywhere.
Well, I had heard that Kathy Davis, the former temporary superintendent, had been around for the last couple of weeks.
Okay.
Because how could this be prepared?
Right. This was
to
then
step
decided.
right
Yeah, this was already
Yeah.
decided.
There was something,
Yeah.
in preparation.
I think they.
Yeah,
this
but
decision
here's
was made a while ago.
another scenario. It may not be that he did something nefarious. He may have found a better job that he's decided, I'm going to take this better job because my contract isn't going to be extended, but I'm still under contract for another year. I mean, the contract doesn't run out until next July 31st. So, and he's got a lawyer up because
See, there's the
he'd like to
reason
get
statement.
paid. Yeah.
John, the reason statement. There you go.
And I still want to get paid on my contract, but I've got this other gig that it's just going to be better
It's gonna
for
be a lot
me.
easier for me.
Yeah, than putting up with what I'm putting up with in Utica. So let's see if that scenario surfaces. I mean, I don't know that the guy is necessarily going to be indicted for anything.
Right.
There are a number of things that could be
It
going
would
on
be
here.
highly unethical to offer him a contract while he's under contract with someone else, unless of
Or
course,
they
it's
know
after
that-
it expires.
Or they
Well, I'm
know
saying
that
while
he's,
he's under contract.
or they know that he's looking, because
Right.
those things tend to get out, even if they want, if he wanted it to be confidential. He's still looking at a lucrative 1-year contract, and he may want to deal with that through a law firm if he is indeed starting somewhere else in the fall. I'm just saying that could be the scenario we're looking
I
at.
don't know, about 20 years ago, there was another black man who was either vice superintendent, I think he was superintendent. He had a Hispanic last name, and he didn't last too long in Utica.
I don't think
Remember
there.
that?
I don't think
Remember
there's
that?
ever been a minority superintendent. I'm thinking.
Maybe it was the principal.
Yes, it was a
Proctor?
principal.
Okay.
It was his last. What was his last name? Was it Jones?
Was it Jones or Martinez? I don't know what it was. But
Yeah.
anyway, there was a black guy who was in leadership, and it didn't pan out for the
Well,
term.
there's still a lot of
Oh,
people.
wow. Here in Utica?
Yeah.
There's still a lot of people writing about. There was a Proctor principal of a year or two ago that really seemed to formed close bonds with both the community and the students, and he got let go. And they were writing about that last night on this. They were like, well, what
Okay.
about Mr. Parrot? Is it Paradise or
Oh,
Paradise?
Yeah,
Right,
yeah. They got rid of him quick.
Yeah, he was
Right.
nice though. He was a nice man.
They said, there's a feeling that people are intimidated by black men in leadership positions in the Mohawk Valley, not just Utica, but Mohawk Valley. That seemed to be the sentiment
Because
from
it's-
that thread that I got. People are intimidated by it. And most of the people that said that were black professionals, by the way.
Well, there's not a whole lot of us around.
No, and there's a lot of hostility, a lot of
But
micro.
here's a question.
microaggressions and
This
weirdness.
is obviously already in the news, and maybe
Yeah.
in the news a lot more. Is this going to discourage, the few minorities that come here to apply for, positions of leadership?
I don't know that, but I know that the first wave of black professionals that came in was when we had that first tech wave with General Electric back in the 50s, and General Electric and Griffiths Air Force Base brought the first black real body of black professionals to town. And I heard about it from my father. They're just not the overall racism is. It's just kind of the way we do business.
I was going to say, it's profoundly bad.
But you know what? Let's take that up when we come back from these messages. Stay tuned, folks. We'll be right back.
For sale, just off Genesee Street, a 3-story house with
You
a
still
fenced
got
backyard
We the Best
and
loaded.
7 additional parking spaces.
I never wrote We the
David,
Best.
this
Yeah.
was way down.
Primary
Which one?
This was way down
left
here.
is 2 apartments.
This was way
Each
down
with
here.
front and rear
Ron
access,
texted me and said,
or
"You're
combined to
great.
accommodate a
Okay.
larger
You
family.
check that
With
level.
2 kitchens.
All right, I moved it down.
No,
I'm sorry.
no,
I did.
don't
I
move it.
accidentally moved it. All right,
This-
don't
this-
move this one.
Consideration for
Yeah,
first
Okay.
time.
don't put, you move this
I-
just
yeah, I
you see
moved
how
that.
that
All right.
just watch push this all the way. See that? You can't go all the way up. That's
Oh,
why
that
our,
was really sensitive.
yeah, but that's why our commercials come out so much louder. You gotta let that down. And
So
this is
keep
the-
that, don't do that all the way.
Right.
All right.
Right, and keep an eye when that bubbles like that.
Okay, yeah, no doubt.
Vision and more. It's just one way.
This, Jay, I gotta tell him you left this.
What? I just found that.
That's Jay's.
671-6575, TTY 711,
Jay,
or
he's-
visit
I put it up here.
Okay. I
It was
found
in
it.
that cup, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I put it. I was wondering how it got. I was like, I put that in the cup. I thought it flew out.
So, David, would you go down and get the list? I left it on
Sure.
the top of the.
You got another one with you? Usually
Yeah.
it's
You
two.
got 2?
You got 2 of
Three?
them?
Yeah.
Nice. John, you're awesome.
But then you
Where
know.
the hell did they invent you, John? Where you come from?
Pennsylvania.
Right? Is that where you're from?
PA.
Is that where they invent these things?
Yeah, here
That's
we-
where you get a Steven at? Oh my God.
Him and that the guy with the shorts and the hoodie.
Right. Oh,
Can't stand that guy.
shorts and the hoodie. Oh my God. Who does that?
Through local partnerships,
All right.
outreach, sponsorships, and education.
Maybe Spence would have done better if he'd have worn shorts and a hoodie.
Right.
Got a connection.
Loved him. Oh my. Oh yeah. Right.
That's funny.
The
All right, so we're
Tom
gonna come back.
Fetterman.
Fetterman.
Shorts and a hoodie.
So we're gonna
Yeah.
talk. So we're gonna talk about racism.
Yeah, racism in Mohawk
endemic,
Valley.
endemic racism.
Yeah, it is.
And it's
Remember all the people? Remember that guy, the brother from DC that was dating the girl that was the head of the health department that Cynthia appointed? Oh yeah, we had a pool party. You invited him to your house. We hung out at your pool.
Was he a reporter?
He was a retired Marine, and he worked for.
Oh wait a minute, I remember that guy.
Yeah, he was sharp.
Yeah. When we were
He
doing
gave us a lot
we
of.
were doing the gardens.
Right, and they were giving him so much. Sullivan was making his life hell.
Sullivan was?
He's like thoroughly credentialed. He's like, dude, they're calling behind me, the DC saying, is this guy qualified? You know, do I have to listen to him?
Wow.
Oh yeah, he was like, oh, it was nuts. I was like, wow. And
Oh, I remember his name. Wait,
he was a sharp dude.
Gary.
Yep.
Because I stayed in touch with him.
Yeah, he was from DC, and he dated the head of the health department. She was bad too.
She didn't last
They,
long.
well, no, they said this place is. You're like, you can't do this. You don't have to do this. You know, we have viable options, other places. We're professionals. We can go anywhere. Yeah, they got out of here.
Gary.
Yeah, I remember that. And then McNamara, he was telling me how, you know, he worked for that computer logistics company. And he said they can't keep any black people. He used to tell me that all the time. You know, they get up here, and after about a couple of months, they put in their resignation. They get the hell out of here. That's what he told me. You know, you can't keep anybody. You know, they all leave.
The DA said that.
This is a guy that owned, well, works for the computer logistics company. They do like, you know, they got international contracts. They do.
He's got to pull this. He's got to pull this commercial.
But they can't keep. They can't keep.
That's been. This has been on
Black
forever.
Yeah.
April was the month, and now it's June.
This is spring.
Sickle cell disease. Sickle cell disease.
Oh yeah, in black African American. I guess you got white African American.
Diversity isn't just genetics.
There's such a
Stable
thing.
blood supply will also include patients
It's not like there's not.
deferred in the past, but tried again. From
Okay,
people
house
that
votes
didn't
to
have time
reduce
until they
some
saw
of the
the
world
extent
that they
hours of living for their patients. From
Right.
people that overcame a fear of
But since you just, no one's even, it's just, it is what it is. We're going to be paying $8 in gas, so pretty much. They don't negotiate anymore. It's just,
Because
it'll
Trump
just work
says
itself
he
out.
says he's bored with negotiating now. He doesn't want to do it anymore.
He doesn't
says.
care.
He said he's
doesn't
bored.
care.
Yeah.
Right, he doesn't care. He started this, God, someone's got to kill him. God, I swear.
Was the microphone? Was the microphone on?
Saturdays from 12 p.m. till 2 p.m.
I know, hot mic.
As well as Monday and Wednesday nights from 6 p.m.
I really can't believe no one has yet.
Easy ride home.
That there's not some patriotic group of Masons that, oh God. Ready, guys?
Hi, this is Cassandra Harris Lockwood. This is the Hot Seat.
Hi, folks. We're back, and the topic of discussion is Dr. Spence and his request for leave of absence that was granted, and already has the replacement in place. And welcome back, Kathleen Davis. Right? I mean,
Right, she was there when you got here, right?
Yeah. Coming and going. And
Why don't you just
she
keep the
was up
job,
at
you know?
Holland Patton because she was either superintendent or principal up there when my sister was teaching math. Up at
Oh,
Holland Patton.
okay.
Yeah,
So she's
Vernon.
been up there.
Yeah,
Oh.
she's a local.
She's been a superintendent before.
I think so.
Okay.
I believe
Yeah,
so.
she was for
smaller
quite a
district.
long time.
Yeah.
Okay.
And anyway, so you know, we'll I think that we really need to discuss the nature of the response to a black, well-educated and very experienced black professional. You know, but I've heard certain things. You know, well, he came from here and they didn't want him there, and you know, this was an easy. You know, I don't know. You know, let's again 315-507-3135 if you want to weigh in.
You know, I think some of this has happened, though, with, you know, some of the Caucasian out-of-town superintendents that came here and didn't survive very long.
It's a tough town.
I think if you're from Long Island, like I know there was one that lived in the next apartment building from me, so, and he had given an oath to the board that he would purchase a house in Utica because they wanted him to stay, and he never purchased. He never purchased that house. He just stayed in an apartment, and that was part of the reason that he did not last long. I can't even remember these people's names. This was like 15 years ago. Yeah, and there was one guy named Kelly that I think he came in after Taras Bowi's long run, and was just a disaster. He knew nothing about the area, and he lasted maybe not even a year. They did everything they could to just run him.
Drive him out.
Yeah,
You know, when
out of
Spence
Utica.
got here, I read the message board on WKTV the day he was hired, and it was up and down DEI. He really came into a hostile environment.
Wasn't that the height of the
Right.
the whole
He got
conflict?
exactly.
Right?
The timing was horrible, and the moment he got hired, it was like DEI. You know, and first of all, I mean, let's be serious. If anybody's going to get hired for DEI, it's not going to be to run a district. If you get a DEI job, it's going to be somewhere in the janitorial area, or you know, it's not going to be running the district. You know,
Right.
you're going to pick the hot.
credentials, yeah.
Right. You're going to have. You got to
People-
be credentialed
yeah,
to do that.
yeah,
And
absolutely.
So that was really insulting. You know, and I'm not saying it's just one or two people. It was all the way down the board. like maybe one comment out of 20 where, hey, give the guy a chance.
I found the
You know,
the
it was crazy.
WKTV site comments to be hair raising all the
They
time.
are.
And I
They
don't
must
have
be a
much
blood
hair,
pressure.
and it still raises every time
Yeah.
I read it.
Yeah.
It's been racist and ignorant for years.
Yeah.
But
I'm
it took the place of topics. Huh?
yeah,
Yeah.
and
But
I'm
I mean, that's
surprised-
our. This is
Oh,
what we.
my.
This is where we live.
Yeah.
I mean,
You know, these are-
I
these
know
are-
there's
these-
I know there's
this is
free
where we
speech,
live.
but I wish some of those message boards would be a little better policed.
They don't police them. Do
You
they
know
police them?
what
They
happened?
got
with-
admins, but
The,
keep
the
on freedom
Utica,
of speech.
the Utica
you know?
police finally decided we've had it. They just have restricted comment
Yeah,
because
sometimes
for
they
years,
don't even have comments.
you know, their site was
bad.
just as bad. You know,
Was it?
any
Yeah,
mi-
it was,
it
yeah.
was bad. Any minority arrested, the comments up and down the line
Yeah.
were ignorant and
Yeah.
you know
Ridiculous.
insensitive.
Yep.
And see, a lot of people will get a fake account. You look at
Right.
just take a look at some of the people that comment, and they're not
Oh,
even
my
real
Facebook
people.
page, oh my! There's one guy. What's this? Francis somebody? Or it's crazy.
Well, I think he's
Nicholas Francis, right? He's some kind of.
yeah, I think
Bot, right?
yeah,
He's a
that
bot.
or I think that's is definitely a fake site. I think
fake
it's
name, anyway.
I think it's a real local person that
Yeah.
created
Oh
it.
yeah, there's a bunch of those.
Absolutely,
yeah.
Yeah, there's a bunch of those.
And there's
Real
a
people
woman.
that
There's a woman that's
Cindy Cullen.
Yeah, I
Everybody
really,
knows her.
I really don't think she's a real person.
No, she's some politician around here.
Yeah,
I'm telling you.
or supporter
She gets
of.
her alter ego. She gets all the rocks off.
Because
being
like
Cindy.
when most of their pictures are AI, and then they just steal a few shots from somebody's out of towners Facebook page, and
Yeah.
they don't even try very hard to make you realize that they don't exist.
Yeah, and then every post is basically a troll anyway. They're
All
not
right, so
really
let's
real.
you want to switch? You want to switch to national because we could
You
go
can
on,
always
but,
do that,
But
yeah.
the phone number 315-507-3135. You can break in on the topic of Dr. Spence's very sudden and unpredicted
Right.
departure.
Or we can talk
Well,
about
we don't know yet that it's a departure, but
Well,
I
it's
would
a
I would
departure for the
assume that
time being.
at least for
Yeah.
6 weeks or so.
Yeah.
Or we can
Best
talk
part
about
is-
our weird, ambiguous war, not war. What's going
Oh.
on? I mean, this is so strange.
But they did pass the War Powers Act, right?
Resolution?
But,
Okay.
well, it's passed through the House. It has to go through the
Right.
Senate now, right, John?
It does, but I think you've got Susan Collins clinging for dear life to her Senate seat. You've got Lisa Murkowski has already pretty much come out against the war. There are going to be enough defecting Republicans. I think there's also the guy that Trump left at the altar in the Texas primary a few
Oh,
weeks
yeah,
ago.
poor guy.
Cornyn,
Yeah.
who has decided he's going to be a rebel and. He's going to say what he wants to say in the remaining
Right.
9 months
Oh,
or so
yeah.
of his.
They've been freed from their.
From the
and-
MAGA
and-
dad. Right.
And Bill Cassidy in Louisiana too, who didn't, I don't think, got much Trump help in his loss in the primary. So anyway, what has happened is that the House has passed the War Powers Resolution. Of course, Mike Johnson and most of the leaders opposed it, but there were enough defectors that now.
We call them defectors, but they're reasonable people, is what they're seeing the handwriting on the wall. And
Yeah.
It's what I said before. Remember when this whole thing started a year and a half ago? These people are going to have to choose between their constituents in reality and following Trump.
The other thing, much less covered, but by an even larger vote, even more Republicans defecting. They voted to unlock Trump's lock on aid to the Ukraine this week.
Oh, great, yeah.
And so, that is advanced. I think in that case there were like a dozen Republicans that defected and that said that they will sign the Ukraine petition and vote for it.
What did Claudia Tenney do?
Oh, I don't expect that she'll defect on anything. I mean, you're talking about the Ukraine thing passed with 218 votes, and I think there are about 205 Republicans left. A few of them have either passed away
I
or
remember-
resigned.
Titty,
or-
haven't heard her name.
Yeah, because I remember when the whole thing started. Oh, Putin was a monster. He's a murderer.
Right.
You can't trust him. He's,
Stop.
right?
It's
Am I right?
really surreal. I can't
Right? And now she's
believe the about face. Right? When her boss started
I don't know. That's why I'm asking. You know,
It's crazy.
how bad is this?
She
Crazy.
kind of is in a district now that doesn't
nuts.
get a lot of media coverage. It's like this huge district, but it's like the Finger Lakes in rural western New York. So, you know, you used to hear more about her, but now in this media market, there's been such a, you know, contraction of real reporters. Like the OD still didn't have the Christopher Spence story this afternoon. I was
Wow.
looking to see if there were any updates. The Sentinel had 2 stories about it. The OD had 0. So
Right.
the only newspaper left covering this area now is the Rome Sentinel.
Rome Sentinel. Yeah.
In print.
And when it
in Utica, Phoenix.
and when it comes
Yeah,
to
Phoenix, yeah,
and when it comes to national news, CBS
yes,
is
went down the tubes.
Good
Yes.
Fox now, essentially. CBX like.
So wait, I want to say one
Yeah, I'm
more
sorry,
thing. I
John.
want to go back to Claudia Tenney,
Mhm.
because whenever she posts on Facebook, people just jive on her. They thump her, you know.
She can't get anything out, right?
No, she says some, you know, bizarre MAGA kind of, you know, statement, and everybody says, "What?
What are you talking
what?"
about,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Where you been?
Just have to say that anyway.
That's good. You're
Shout
right.
out
She
to
does
Claudia,
get dumped.
I
I'm
used to ride
surprised she even
I used to
posted.
ride
it.
horses with her, but no more.
Trump has largely been absent this week, except to hold what was described as an extremely bizarre press conference yesterday, where he said that a ceasefire or a truce means only moderate shooting goes on.
It's not just quite as much. Yeah.
You know.
We wouldn't bomb as much.
So, you know, there'll be some bombing and shooting going on, but it'll just be moderate because, you know, this ceasefire is holding.
Yeah.
And it's like the reporters can barely keep a straight face
Right.
when he launches into something like that.
So what about Iran and Lebanon? I think that's quite a conundrum for the because they wanted Trump and his Israeli buddy Netanyahu wanted to, you know, separate the two and keep bombing the Jesus out of southern Lebanon while calling it a ceasefire someplace else. And Iran said, no, we're not having that. You're gonna, you know, the ceasefire must include Lebanon. I can't, you know, there's so many Lebanese people in Utica. They're just like grieving. They're grieving.
Right. There is a lot of
cousins
Lebanese here
and relatives there
that go. Yeah.
They go back.
Still
you know.
connected.
This is terrible.
Wow.
It's just terrible.
And
And they've taken over like a third of it, right? The southern third of the country.
Yeah.
Trump apparently
the
flipped
IDF
out the other day on Netanyahu over you know, his strategy of bombing Hezbollah, you know, bombing Lebanon. He was like, "What the F are you doing?"
Right.
He could be heard
You're
screaming.
crazy.
Yeah, they hate you. The world hates you
Yeah.
because of what you're doing.
Well, he could probably put that a little bit on himself.
I think that's carefully curated public relations right there.
I don't know, but I do know that he has created at least 2 generations of people who hate America. and
Wow.
Hate America.
That's so true.
Okay.
Yeah, at
Next
least
couple,
2.
At least a couple.
At least
you know?
2. Oh, you know what? Not to change the subject. We talked about the dirt at the garden, right?
Yeah, we did.
And I got someone that wants some dirt.
Okay.
Can they get it today?
Well, I don't know about that. About today, we have to make arrangements so we can do
All right,
that. We
they
have
wanna come down
beautiful,
at 6.
wonderful. But you know, we were just there yesterday, and I
Yeah.
tell you what, it was a great thing with Mr. Mahana,
Mhm.
because it looks as though one of our gardeners might get a job out of that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
That's
that
awesome.
connection.
Yeah.
Planting trees. There's you know, the city got a bunch of money for planting trees, and you know, the right place at the right time, kind of, you know, worked out.
Okay,
So,
I'll tell them 5 o'clock tomorrow.
no, why don't you make a call or two, and then, unless you're going to be down there, you're not.
Yeah, I'll do it. I'll be down there.
You have the keys and everything. You're all set up. Why don't you take a little time on that and do a
Take
little
a little
connection?
researching.
Yeah.
See who's going to be there. Okay, right. All right. Okay,
Yeah, the
stand by,
Hezbollah-
Michelle. Stand by.
The Hezbollah piece is tough because they're dedicated to wiping out America and Israel, right? And so it seems to me like they need to negotiate, you know. And you know what else needs to happen? Some women need to get involved in this in these conflicts, not in the resolution of these conflicts, in the resolution. because the men are not doing so hot. They're just not.
I would say that also we're seeing very, very little coverage now of Gaza.
Right.
It's no better in Gaza.
No, it's disgustingly
It's,
sad.
in fact, if anything, there's probably more illness spreading, more hunger because they're not getting the supplies
Yep.
that they need for. You're talking about a million plus people that are affected, right?
Whittled down to a million. And you know what? When I wake up in the morning, you know, I pray, I give thanks and stuff.
Mhm.
And then when I start getting hungry, I say, you know, this is nothing compared to the people in Gaza. You know, these people are literally starving to death.
They are literally starving right now.
Rampant with disease and just pain and misery.
Yep.
To see what was your homeland literally reduced to rubble,
Yeah.
and to have to live there. And then
Yeah.
you know, they set up a camp that, you know, to survive, and they get driven out of it.
Right.
You know, they get bombed, they get shot.
bombed.
You know, they get their, you know, if they had a little herd of sheep or goats or an olive grove.
What little they did have is gone, you know. And we're also talking about a people that have had stewardship over that land for millennia.
Right.
And they're being removed.
Right. And they're talking
Just
about
plucked out.
taking them out and dropping them off someplace.
Right. Oh no, this is ours now. You're not coming back.
This
You've
is
been
like-
here. You got an olive grove that your great grandmother, you know,
Tended.
Yeah, tended.
Yep.
And, you know, relatives are literally born in there, and they're gonna just snatch it out of you. I don't know. That's so painful.
It is. It's wicked. It's
Yeah.
evil. Is what
Yeah.
it is. But
It's
you know what? We still got a break for commercials.
Oh, jeez.
Stay
You got
tuned.
perfect
folks,
timing.
and we'll be right back.
You the best.
If you look for appliances, we the best. The prices are much lower than the rest.
This commercial wins the awards in Mohawk Valley. It's award winning.
We the best at 1125.
This is up with Empire Commercial.
Appliance needs. We have hundreds of washers, dryers, and refrigerators.
Northern lights could reach the northeast tonight if it stays clear.
Nice.
Do what?
I've only seen them.
Northern
twice in
lights
my
could
life.
reach the northeast tonight if it stays clear.
I've only seen them twice. I saw them in Illinois.
Hey, is that Baby Wayne coming?
Baby Wayne moves
Baby
on.
Wayne!
Yes!
Baby Wayne!
Baby Wayne! Yes, baby!
Well, he got dark.
Wagwan!
Yeah,
Wagwan!
He
the
got
sun managed me, you know. He was a good son, though.
Oh, you went down to the islands?
Yeah, I was on the beach.
Lucky you.
Yeah,
Lucky you. Ain't nothing wrong
I
with
ate
it.
so much fruits.
Oh, man.
I
Fruit
had to
everywhere.
leave some.
The
I
abundance.
couldn't carry
I
it.
can see that.
The
I can see
abundance.
that.
Fruit is good,
What's the
man.
best fruit you eat?
Mango,
Okay.
The abundance.
all kind.
Uh-huh.
You got pineapple, real pineapple.
Ah.
The guy just went to his garden or his wherever, his field, and picked.
You know, when I was in Africa, there was so much, when I was in the Gambia, there was so much mango all over. It
Mhm.
just dropped on the ground,
Yeah,
all
yeah.
over the place, you know?
Yeah, yeah,
And,
that's how it was.
Yeah, and it's so delicious. I made up this drink that I wanted to produce. I wanted to bring aloe down there and grow aloe all over and make this drink called Mango Tango.
Oh, man.
Okay?
Mango Tango.
Just those two
Not to be
things.
confused
Maybe
with
put a little
Ted
moringa
Nugent's
in there,
Wango
put some fizzy
Tango.
water.
Ted Nugent.
I'm telling you, Mango
Ted.
Tango.
Oh, yeah, that is
I know
right.
people that drink.
That's how somebody
aloe
posted
vera
his
like that.
video today. He looks like he's
Some
about
people drink it.
97
Oh, it looks
now
horrible.
with that awful goatee.
Yeah, yeah, Nugent.
And he's still saying all kinds of nutty stuff.
I know.
Just think, his claim to fame,
So good for you.
claim to fame
You
is
know?
catchy.
And then we wouldn't have any
That was the
That was his
biggest song he
hit.
ever had.
Right.
It's already sweet.
Yeah.
Hey, that's your what? That's what you did? That's your whole thing in life?
I don't
All right.
know.
It sounds like he wrote it at the bar in about 5 minutes.
Yeah, yeah, less than that. Actually, he
Where you
just,
at?
Ted Nugent.
that was stream of consciousness.
Which,
He wrote
what song was that?
the cat
Cat
scratch.
Scratch Fever.
No.
Horrible. That's his claim to fame. We're just
What
talking
about
That's his contribution to
Minneapolis
art.
by the Boss?
Okay.
You know, he wrote
Oh,
that.
the boss is
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
a much better songwriter than Nugent.
But it's so
that's for sure.
contemporary too, though. You know what? I
God,
should learn that
Nugent's-
song.
Nugent's horrible.
You need to learn that song.
Just think, that's what his whole life is built on. Cat scratch fever.
Bruce
It's amazing.
Springsteen.
Like that got him all the freedom to run around the country and talk all that shit. Was that song?
Bruce Springsteen, though, the way he looks these days, you know, the
There was a guy that
he's all
this
shaved up the side of his head.
Oh, he looks different.
I know he looks all straight. and
He's
everything, you know?
reinvented.
Yeah.
Springsteen is.
well he's like in his late 70s
Yeah,
now.
he's saying.
I don't know.
He's
I know,
reinventing
like-
himself.
He
He's
looks like
shaving
he's like
off for a couple
standard guy.
years.
Yeah,
He's about 80, right?
I think he's like maybe 78.
Okay.
How old he is?
He's up there with Bernie
88?
Sanders.
No, 78 I
78.
think.
Is he that
Listen,
old?
he's in great
Yeah.
shape.
He's older than me.
He's in great shape.
He looks good though.
But
he
the
does.
Stones, they're going to tour, quote, in a year or two, and they'll be like in their
Bones.
mid-80s.
Yeah, the stuff.
What are they going to do?
The
The
Bones
Stones
are
are going to
touring.
tour,
I mean,
quote,
the
in a year or
Stones.
two, and now he and Keith will be 85 in a year or two.
Right.
They just keep going.
Just
They're
keep
going to turn
going.
into stones.
Right, they're going to be the Bones. Yeah, Rolling Bones. That's funny. God, they really are going on tour again. I remember when they went on tour back, I was working at the comedy club about 30 years ago. We thought they were old then.
Oh, yeah.
We were like, they're still going. But then we were like, they're burnt out, man. They're old.
The young one, it was Ronnie Wood's birthday the other day, and they described him as the youngest Stone. He was 79. Yeah, the other day. So.
Nice because you get to go and play.
Yeah, so what? He was like 49 then.
Yeah.
Right. That was like, we're like, they're old, man. What are you talking? They're 60 years old. He's doing touring. And it was a big deal.
I was in the sun.
They played Soldier Field.
There was Jagger's famous comment, I ain't going to be playing Satisfaction at 39.
When I was construction, I
Right.
How wrong he was,
wrong
but he
he
probably
was.
didn't realize he get paid $500 million
Right,
to do a
right.
tour.
When he was 80. Right.
But
Yeah.
I've seen
I'm not gonna be playing Satisfaction when I'm 39.
No,
No, you're playing when you're 89.
They sit in the sun. Them white people sit in the sun all day.
Yeah, they
Till it
do.
get dark.
The white people love sitting in the
Lay in the
sun.
sun. Lay in the sun.
They do.
Yeah.
And they get like leather.
Yeah.
They look like leather. I'm telling you.
And I've seen the lady every morning
Yeah.
in the summer.
Baking.
She's naked outside.
Yeah.
Like just a little panties.
Yeah, but pretty much naked.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And she don't care.
I had a neighbor like that
Time.
when I was younger.
We're here, we are. And we're back. And Baby Wayne is in the house.
Yes.
Fire Wayne is in the house. Yes, welcome back. He's at least a shade or two darker. He did
Yes.
a little vacationing in the sun in homeland of Jamaica. So we're glad to have him back. And you know,
We were speaking of musical performers during the break, but
Yes.
Since last week's show, we saw the complete collapse of the 250th
Right.
anniversary
I know.
concert.
Yes,
And there's
yay.
virtually no one left among, and these are like C-level, C-list
Right.
performers that they were
Yep.
able to get for this, and one by one they've been dropping out, and I think the last one to drop out was one half of Milli Vanilli
Yeah,
the other
Milli.
day said, you
Yeah.
know, I'm not doing it. So now it's just going to be Donald Trump doing a
yeah,
speech.
Right.
Right.
No,
A rant.
but there's going to
A
be
rant.
alternative. There are going to be alternative actions. I thought that they were going to. Somebody was going to revive the Kennedy Center, and or somewhere there was going to be
A counter.
Yeah,
there is.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
going to be
yeah.
called a No Kings festival.
No Kings Festival.
Yeah,
Okay.
yep.
All right.
That's going to counter the 250th anniversary that he's having.
And I think
which so
that-
far is more popular.
Yeah, right. And,
Yeah.
and I think that all over the country would probably be a response like that.
That's a
because
good idea.
We do want to
Yeah.
celebrate but it's only Flag Day. It's his birthday. It's not like it's the July 4th or anything.
Yeah. Well, you know,
Or
you
Juneteenth.
put that with
Or
Arc.
Juneteenth.
You put that with Arc de Triomphe,
Oh,
right?
my
Arc
Lord.
de Trump, and
He's never going to get that belt by July
it's not gonna
4th.
happen.
Good.
Yeah. No
But
way.
he did say that the arc, the metal arc, as he calls it, that he put up on the White House is going to stay there permanently after the UFC wrestling matches
bizarre
for his 80th birthday. He says it's as beautiful as the Eiffel Tower, and I want to keep this, as a memento. And the pictures of it today, it's just atrocious. It blocks the whole front of the White House. It makes it look like something that you would see at
the
south
mall.
of the border in
Yeah,
South
something at a
Carolina.
mall.
Some
know?
cheesy
Yeah.
roadside attraction.
Right.
He has no schoon.
It's the Vegas White
He
House.
has no concept of how out of order. His narcissism knows no bounds.
No, it doesn't. Yes,
No bounds.
no. He doesn't care about tradition.
He doesn't care about people hungry,
nothing.
starving,
Nothing.
hurting. No health care. I mean, I had a problem with my health insurance. I got some diagnostics stuff done back in January, February. I've never even gotten the things read. I don't have. I have to pay for it, but I've got no. This thing is crippled. He's crippled the healthcare system.
Wow.
And
really? You're
yeah.
still waiting on?
Well, I'm transitioned past where I was 6 months ago.
Okay.
I don't even have the pains that I had back then. I've been healing myself.
Oh,
But
Jesus.
seriously,
It's not
which is
good.
cool. But
That's not
but,
good.
but
still,
there are people that can't.
you're
do
fortunate that you are.
Yeah,
It could be
absolutely.
the other way.
Absolutely.
You could be suffering.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
if you thought you were paying enough for gas and groceries, by the way,
Oh, geez.
you will be paying a lot more for both, and here's why. This hasn't gotten a lot of coverage because there's so much other crazy stuff going on, but
Distracting.
very quietly, without his usual,
Bluster.
pomp and
Majesty.
blowhard,
Right.
actions. He has decided to, I guess you could say, more broadly impose tariffs in most countries across the world. He's proposing tariffs of 10 to 12.5% now on imports from dozens of countries, including our largest trading partners. Previously, much of the effort was concentrated on China. So now experts are saying that these are products and countries that we buy from that are just deeply ingrained in our economy.
Mm-hmm.
And if people thought the prices were going up before, this is going to have much more of an impact on this. It's going to bring all these new tariffs, causing another source of pressure for companies and consumers, and the companies are probably going to have to absorb their additional cost to
John,
this.
on top of the elevated gas and diesel prices.
Right.
Everything gets trucked around here, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
I think maybe there's a part of him that he does realize there's not going to be a third term, so he doesn't care
He
now.
doesn't care.
He
Right.
doesn't want to help any successor unless one of his own kids were running.
Right.
He could care less
He could
whether
care less.
he wants J.D. Vance and Marco Rubio to battle it out. In fact, the
He
other
wants
day
to watch.
he said,
And he's gonna
I would
lead
like
them-
to have them on the same ticket, but he declined to say which one he would like as president and which is the running mate.
He thinks that this
He
is
actually said that?
No,
Yeah.
Oh, God.
He this is like The Apprentice to him.
Yeah,
This is like
exactly.
a back to
You
the
nailed it.
TV. What was that in the 80s? The
90s.
Apprentice, the 90s.
Yeah, 90s and aughts.
Well,
Early
we're seeing lots of people suddenly canceling Netflix because they have proposed a new edition of The Apprentice
No.
with Donald Trump Jr. as the host.
Oh, no, we're done.
And people are just like, we're
What?
done with that.
Yeah,
we'll
with
never-
that
yeah.
service.
They'll never
so I don't.
have it.
That's another thing that probably is not going to come to pass now
Right.
because of the
They're not even
pressure.
good at business.
I
Like
mean,
that's a fantasy. that whole
I
thing.
mean, they've got the market now in streaming movies and drama. Why would you risk all that
Right.
by
It's
POing
Narcissism.
everybody?
It's narcissism. They just can't help themselves.
And also, the almighty buck, in the quest for it, knows no boundaries. If they can make a buck, they'll do it.
What's happened to the whole streaming thing is like, remember a few years ago, and it was like you'll just see a commercial at the beginning, an occasional commercial, and now it's like you watch a movie and it's just like network television. Every 10 or 15 minutes, sometimes there's a 3 or 4 minute break, and you can't just get rid of it. They won't let you fast forward it, so it's like we're right back where we started from, where that's
I
concerned.
don't even stream. I'm so backwards on that whole.
Wow,
I
you don't?
No.
Okay.
I don't have time.
Right.
I want to watch what's going on. I watch the News Hour with our friends at Network. At Channel 44.
Well, if you
Right, you're streaming the
if
news.
you stream the Roku,
Yeah.
Stream the
Oh, there
news.
you go.
Roku has a lot of news networks. You can
Yeah,
watch
you can
events
stream
on that. And, I think probably, what would you say, close to half of the country is mostly streaming now and
Yeah.
not watching
Yeah.
cable anymore.
Cable is shot. Cable's gone. The cable's been cut. You know, it's nice to have, and I'm sure.
I like to hear black
Yeah.
reporters and journalists speak on international and national news, and that show does really well for me.
Yeah.
You know.
I also like to watch Al Jazeera and BBC as well. I don't mind foreign takes on international events either. Yeah, I try to have as many different sources as possible.
I have a question. What's going on with Cuba?
Oh man.
What's going on? I
It's
mean,
not
wasn't he
good.
taking it over? Or, you know, if it's starving him out. I mean, that's another one that's just so ridiculous, and they're still bombing little boats coming.
Yeah, he's made life really hard for kids.
Well, the thing that's been happening there is a really harsh fuel blockade, which now has reached the point where the garbage collectors can't even go out anymore and pick
Yeah,
up the
it's
trash
bad.
because there's no
Oh,
fuel.
my
Yeah.
Lord.
So Havana is full of garbage all over the place.
Oh, jeez.
It's overflowing so much that it's covering entrances of most houses, and people are having to clear a path through the garbage to get to the street.
I remember when the garbage strike was in New York City. That was bad. Oh my goodness. That was
So
bad.
what-
It's not hot, was it? I mean, it's hot in Cuba.
So what some people are doing is just setting them on fire. They
Oh,
don't.
jeez.
And there's a picture of a guy sitting in Havana where there are all these fires of garbage around him, and of course, public health experts are saying that mosquito-borne illnesses are going to grow because of all
Absolutely.
this garbage.
Yeah, and rats too.
And also extended power outages keep happening. They're becoming more and more common. And I think
Cruelty.
it just seems that his strategy is not to invade, but just let the country collapse and just go waltzing in at some point. And,
Right.
Cruelty,
Pretty much.
chaos.
he says that he wouldn't mind having Marco Rubio run Cuba,
Because he speaks Spanish, right?
probably.
Macco.
All right, let's go to the other one. Hegseth strikes female and black Navy officers for promotions. How about that? And these people that insist that he's not racist, what? And he's not a misogynist?
Oh God.
He's not a rapist and a womanizer?
His excuse, which is classic Hegseth, is that we're only trying to get rid of DEI. We don't need it anymore. But what's happened now is that there was a slate of 22 nominees who were to, be promoted as Navy officers, and he removed. Let me count this: 3, 2, 4, 9 of them were removed, and of that list, 3 were women and 2 were black men. So what he's doing is having a management, a leadership that doesn't reflect, the officers. About 38% of the active duty Navy are now personnel identifying as a minority, and women are now about 21% of the active duty Navy, but that is not reflected in the leadership. And it's a series of firings and personnel interventions that are driven by anti-diversity politics rather than anything to do with how the officers
Right.
are performing.
Right. It's
Yeah, how
under
can you make a
performance.
sweeping...
Say it's a
statement like
meritocracy,
that?
but then you fire people based on race.
And the thing
It's
is, you pick
bizarre.
relatively youthful people, and they could be there for a long time. This is going to shape the way that the military's leadership looks, possibly for
Years
years.
to come. Yep.
Let's pick another topic from the list here.
Yeah. Heck, Seth. What a great guy.
How about Maine voters? What's going to happen there? Oh, and Scott Pelley. Scott Pelley's the man. Scott Pelley's the man.
Scott Pelley. That name is so familiar.
Well, he's the 60 Minutes guy that stood up to Trump.
He has,
Oh, yeah.
he has something like 38 years at CBS, and he's been with 60 Minutes for more than 20. And he was the biggest name or most experienced reporter left. And
Because
so
they got rid of other ones.
yeah, the others have all
And the
either
producer
quit
has
or
no experience.
been forced out.
Right?
And,
That's what he was yelling at. The guy with no
yeah,
experience.
It wasn't the CEO. She wasn't there for the meeting.
It was the
although,
guy that's the head of that department.
and
Has zero experience in news.
and that's what he had to say. He basically said that you people are murdering this network, and
Right.
and it also, by the way, happens at a time when I would say easily the best radio news network. Well, with NPR was always the CBS radio network.
Right. Yeah.
It shut down
Yep.
permanently as of the end of May.
You know what I think's going to happen? I think a lot of these
CBS
top
News is
flight
gone?
The radio, network
a lot of
ended.
these top
Yeah.
flight journalists are going to go to PBS.
Right.
That's
They
what's gonna
probably
happen.
will.
Yep.
Or they'll go private. You know, this is the thing. There's plenty of room on the internet for good content, especially if you're a journalist with integrity. There's an audience there, and like Joy Reid, for
But
instance, she immediately landed on her feet. Her podcast is very popular, and
I don't-
maybe she's not on MSNBC, but she still has an audience,
Uh-huh.
and she still has a very popular
I have to
podcast.
confess, I don't get her. I don't see her.
You have to Google her name.
No, okay.
You know, Joy Reid. Google it up. And if it's not her cast, she's on someone else's.
Well, if Scott Pelley cares to work, he will be working soon, but he may be
Yes.
at the age where he'll just do specials or podcasts or something like that. 68, but in broadcast journalism, you stay with it for a while. And today, Dan Rather, who I believe is about 95 now, signed a letter with some others condemning what's going on at CBS News.
I don't get
Dan
it.
Rather.
I'm glad.
He has been gone from major broadcast networks now for probably about 20 to 25
Wow.
years, but
A long time.
there was some lesser network that he joined for a while after he was terminated from CBS. But
Let's talk climate change. Europe is frying.
Yeah, I told you that Atlantic circumnavigational climate
Yep.
collapsing.
And we're going to be frying here.
Yeah, it's
The
collapsing.
United States is going to be frying.
it's
not-
it's definitely the hot seat. In fact, the Saturday sizzle could now be the Thursday afternoon sizzle in here.
Well, I'm just, I was talking about this yesterday, and how, this emphasis or the insistence on plastics
Yep.
and petroleum-based
Yep.
products has got to go.
The other shoe's
and
dropping.
I'm hoping that this next generation will just clamp down on it. Say we got to go to hemp. We've got to
Right.
go to hemp.
Where does the buck finally stop?
Because you could grow seasons of hemp, and one season of hemp takes you 15 years with trees, 15 to 30 years with trees. It's ridiculous, and we need, that needs to be promoted. And again, the young people don't get it. They don't get it that not everything was always wrapped in plastic. Didn't come in a
Right.
preformed
Yeah,
plastic
they're growing up
container.
in this world.
Yeah,
they are.
That's just normal to
It's
them.
normal to them.
I was talking to somebody that said, when I was a kid, everything was in glass. You went to the store and the bottles were glass. You recycle that stuff.
Yeah.
This stuff doesn't go away.
Right. Or cardboard.
Back in the late 70s,
I remember
worked
those wonderful times.
Yeah, I worked in radio, and they had a trade with Coca-Cola. So Coca-Cola had a machine with glass bottles of Coke where you could get a big bottle for 10 cents through this trade. It's like soda never has tasted as good in plastic. It really hasn't. There's something about the glass
Oh yeah, no
container
doubt.
that I think it's just cleaner, and
Yeah.
and plus you're not getting all
And
those
the
chemicals.
microplastics,
Yeah.
You're talking about that and contaminating bodies
Yeah.
and
And after-
autism.
yep.
And, it's
But
just-
what's happening in Europe is that the heating season is starting earlier and ending later, and the schools are not prepared.
air
They're not big.
conditioning.
They're not big on air conditioning, and now it's getting to the point where, kids are about passing out in the classroom.
It's going to happen here.
Yeah.
It's going to happen here, and there's there is something you can do about it, but we're past the point where it's going to be any kind of easy fix, and I think people have to go underground to stay cool, or pull that more geothermal kinds of heating and cooling. But we got one more item. What do you want to do, John? What do you want to talk about?
Well, I did want to. I can touch on Maine because I think Maine's going to be an interesting scene over the last or next week or two. Is that basically Graham Plotner, who's now alone as the Democrat running for against Susan Collins for the U.S. Senate. It's come out that that he sexted dozens of women while married just several years ago.
Great.
And the wife has come out on video and saying it happened, but this is my marriage, none of your business, and I'd rather have a flawed marriage than no marriage. But now the question is, can the Democrats run someone who's so flawed? So far, it hasn't hurt him a bit in the polls. He's up close to 10% over Susan Collins now, but the governor stepped out thinking that she couldn't beat him, and now she's saying, well, I'm still on the ballot as a write-in, Janet Mills, but age is against her because she's 78 years old,
Jeez.
Almost up there with Bruce Springsteen or
Trump.
Mick Jagger or Trump, yeah.
Bob Dole.
And Trump has normalized philandering and sex.
Oh yeah, yeah, yes.
Sex excess
And
and
grabbing them by
the pee parts.
right.
Well, listen, that's about it for today. Because
Is it already 6?
yes, it is. It's 6:01, and
Oh, man.
by the way,
At 6 o'clock, do you know where your children are, or do you know who your children are? That's the question tonight.
thanks for tuning in, folks. Have a good weekend.
Good stuff.
See you next week.
Yeah.
All right.
That was interesting.
That was